Hello everyone and welcome to another custom figure showcase. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Obviously it's been a while since I've done any videos, but it's because I've been trying to get my new office and everything set up. I have got it all sort of set up now, more or less, so expect some more content in future from me and sort of starting getting back into the swing of things. But for today we have here a new 3D printed custom, and this is my 3D printed Davros / Dalek from Nemesis of the Daleks. Now, first things first, I have to give a huge shout out to, first of all, Edward Felix, because the skirt and midsection on this are a remix from his accurate Imperial that he did on Thingiverse. So big shout out to him. It would have been very difficult for me to do this otherwise, so huge thanks to him. But a further thanks needs to go to Rob Ackers for his remix of Edward Felix's Imperial midsection, which, as it comes around, you can see here that the front is sort of slightly separate, and that is because this is his version, which has the articulated gun box and everything like that. I'm not sure, I know he's put these files up on the Doctor Who 3D printing Facebook page before. I don't think they're available on Thingiverse. But you know, a huge shout out to him for you know, those remix parts. You know, it makes these models really sort of stand out that little bit more. But yeah, so we have a new. Is this Davros or is this the Emperor? That's the big question, because I'm going to go into this in a future fan theories video, but due to the sort of continuity between different comics, there is some debate as to whether this is Davros or isn't it. In simple terms, in the comic Nemesis of the Daleks, the Seventh Doctor identifies this Emperor specifically as Davros, seemingly recognising him, although he never sort of reveals his face inside the cowling, which sort of seems to stem or go from the idea that Davros lost his mind and became the Emperor, which Big Finish explored in Terra Firma, and I think it's sort of been implied and hinted at in a few other things. But later on in the comic Emperor of the Daleks, both this Emperor and Davros appear as separate entities, and the Seventh Doctor says that he believes he was mistaken, because Emperor of the Daleks takes place before Nemesis of the Daleks in terms of the Daleks continuity, but in terms of the Doctor's continuity, he experiences the events of Nemesis before the events of Emperor. So again, this is why I'm putting together a fan theory. But either way, I wanted to make this because personally I think it's Davros, and I wanted to add this one into my collection. Now, the colour scheme on this is something that's a bit more unique, but the reason I decided to go for this was because in Nemesis of the Daleks, there isn't actually any times where this Emperor appears in a colour panel. Although some of you may have seen a colour panel out there. I know that there is one that has been colorized famously, but I don't think it was an official colorization. So with this, the idea of this being Davros, I wanted to do something that was a little bit different, because if I ever did do another print of this to represent that Golden Emperor, I would do it the plain actual gold, because I believe that that Emperor did actually appear in a picture with in a Fifth Doctor story, or a Fifth Doctor reference picture or something like that, in the full gold. So if I ever did that, I'd probably go and do that version of him in his sort of proper full gold livery. But as I said, I wanted this to be a Davros one, so I wanted to make him slightly different. So I've actually taken inspiration from the Day Supreme Dalek, because again, wanted it to stand out, wanted it to be a little bit different to the other Emperors, and sort of, I wanted it to evoke a sort of Davros-ish look. Got there in the end. So I decided to go for sort of a double tone base and the black spheres, because obviously normally Davros has a dark metallic, has a dark base with metallic elements, so I sort of decided to reverse that. And then once I'd done that, I sort of, it resembled in my head the Day Supreme, or the Day Leader, whichever one you want to call it, the gold Dalek from Day of the Daleks. And I'm going to get picked up on if I call it a Supreme when it's not a Supreme, or a Leader when it's not a Leader. Either way, I decided to sort of evoke that idea, so that hence why I've got the gold gun but with the silver arm. Also the eye stalk, again obviously I've got the blue elements on it, And then the dome, I've given it the red lights. I considered going for white, or possibly even blue, with the idea of it being Davros. But in sort of test you know, photoshops I did, it didn't really look quite right, and it didn't look the part. So I decided to just go with a straight up you know, red version, because it just looked better. It just looked the part. But yeah, overall, it's one that I'm really pleased it's come out with. It looks really good alongside my sort of other Davros displays and things like that, and my other Davros Emperor Daleks, because obviously I've done the Terra Firma one, and I've got the Imperial one as well. So the files for this I am going to put up on Thingiverse for anyone who wants to download them and make it themselves. I've just realised as well, I should say points of articulation on this. So the gun and arm move. The arm is also my extending version, so although it's going to be difficult to capture on camera now, the actual arm bit, can I do it without moving the model? The arm bit does actually extend, and also the eye stalk swivels up and down on a sort of little clip point, and also the head does rotate as well. So you've got sort of general points of articulation that you would find on a Dalek in there. But that brings to a close another custom figure showcase. As always, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, favorite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot. And be sure to description below for a link to my Patreon. The figure animation is still coming. As I have said many times, I've just been very, very busy lately, but an update on it is coming in future. But for the meantime, even the smallest donation is greatly received to help keep the channel running. And for the smallest donation, you can get your name at the end of my videos. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.